Colorblind education focuses on white ethnocentric curriculum that highlights white accomplishments and white values. By these values, discussions about race are considered politically incorrect and impolite. Teaching strategies focus on getting along rather than transparency, honesty, respectful conflict, and dialogue. Colorblind education reduces non-white cultures to festivals, food, and costumes, failing to acknowledge ways of thinking, believing, communing, and communicating that are non-white and non-American. Colorblind education posits that all children are the same. This perspective does not acknowledge the presence and influence of institutional racism on life circumstances, beliefs, and behavior. It ignores the realities of marginalization experienced by students of color and their families. Colorblind education posits that children should be rewarded and punished based on merit and individual behavior. The expectation is assimilation into white culture while ignoring the way ethnocentric curriculum invalidates the experience of students of color. Curriculum and policy development further ignores information regarding the overrepresentation of students of color found in special education and remedial education tracks. Colorblind education states that all children should receive the same treatment. Blanket policies are applied to classroom management and disciplinary actions. The purpose is to avoid addressing individual needs in order to avoid bringing up racial tensions that might be present in any given situation. Administrations can suppress notions of unfairness by applying the same rule and consequence regardless of the nuances and needs of a situation. 84% of pre-service teachers, and administrators are white. Life experiences and perceptions shape teaching styles, and most teachers have had little experience with cultures outside ethnocentric white American culture. Most teachers have not faced a situation in which they were required to acknowledge the privileges of being white and likewise the reality of racial inequality. The current paradigm of education complements and perpetuates a cycle of colorblind culture. Power dynamics in the classroom are such that teachers are the purveyors of knowledge and students are the unquestioning objects. Teachers pass along these colorblind ideologies to pupils who are taught to accept the authority without critically questioning. Since 84% of student teachers and teachers are white, and thereby living as a part of the validated majority, there is little chance for this paradigm to be questioned. Teaching students to ignore race and be blind to inequality causes a rift between white students and students of color. Students are unable to make true connections across a racial divide because they have been taught to deny a large piece of individual identity. Furthermore, the denial of institutional racism in colorblind education has been shown to have a negative impact on motivation, performance, and engagement. Ignoring the impact of colorblind education thus makes failure a problem of the individual student rather than a failure of the system. We need to apply critical race theory to teacher education programs. Critical race theory states that racism is permanent and pervasive. Teachers must seek to critically analyze the way race and racism work in society by disrupting and changing everyday workings.
I am colorblind.
We need to apply critical race theory to public school curriculum. Multicultural education should focus on equity, culture, and power, centering multiple perspectives, peoples, and worldviews into the curriculum, equipping students with an understanding of power, privilege, and oppression, and ideas about how they might work towards social justice.
I am ready, I am ready, I am taffy stuck and tongue-tied.